Hi, thanks for joining another whiteboarding session. My name is Josh Renault. I'm a client advocate with Red Hat's Open Innovation Labs.
And I'm Aysten Bedin, a senior infrastructure architect as part of the Open Innovation Labs team as well.
With Red Hat's Open Innovation Labs, we get the opportunity to work with our customers and collaborate from an open source perspective as well as third-party software with their existing infrastructure. Aysten, you mentioned you can make this super easy. How do you go about doing that?
Yeah, absolutely, Josh. So we actually use infrastructure as code with automation and source control inventories to control those environments.
Infrastructure as code. I heard that before. What is that?
So yeah, let me try to level set a little bit. So the infrastructure as code approach that we take is that we use a couple of repositories, typically 2 or more, where we actually have the automation and the tooling in one. And then we have a centralized repository where we keep our infrastructure configuration data and input parameters that feeds into the automation. This, in our case, feeds into Red Hat Ansible and Ansible Tower, which we then use to actually apply those changes to a running environment. Like in this case, we have a Red Hat OpenShift container platform down here that we actually use a tool called the OpenShift applier coming out of our communities or practice to make the changes to the environment. In order for us to actually make the changes, we follow the normal software procedure processes with pull requests and merge requests that will then feed into the repository, and in so be able to actually apply those changes without having those one-offs or snowflakes running down in this environment.
Thanks for explaining more in-depth infrastructure as code. If I were to apply this to a customer I'm working with today who's looking to deploy, for example, a monitoring solution, Dynatrace, how would that look?
Yeah, so at Open Innovation Labs, we actually been working with third-party companies like Dynatrace to enable this kind of deployment. So we basically take their software and look at what they already have, preferably if they already have a OpenShift enabled or Kubernetes enabled deployment, we take that and we make these templates out of it with param files that we use with the OpenShift applier and the infrastructure as code process that I explained before. In this particular case, we have the operator from Dynatrace being deployed first. It will take care of setting everything up on the nodes with deploying agents to the actual host within the cluster. While the actual infrastructure as code and the automation that we have will set up things like the service accounts, the role-based access control, security context constraints, and the secrets with our account details that will feed into that operator. As soon as the agents are actually up and running on these nodes, it will monitor the nodes themselves and give us some vital information that we can monitor. But it also monitors the applications, what that's running in the cluster and on those hosts to be able to give us some good dashboards, some good information that we can even use for alerting and so on.
Awesome. So I can see how you can make all this integration a heck of a lot easier. Am I correct in saying that we can deploy this to any hosting environment?
Yeah, that's correct. So with the process that we have and the modularity that this brings, we can actually integrate everything with things like CI/CD, other third-party software components, and even the applications that we're working on as part of the Open Innovation Labs residencies to be able to more control this in the environment that we are using as part of that time box residency, as well as being able to recreate the environment in case of disaster or even move to another environment.
Awesome. Aysten, thank you. And thank you for taking the time. If you'd like to find out some more information, please visit our service blog. You can look up Aysten Bedin, or you can visit red.ht/labs and visit our innovation labs. Until then, happy monitoring.